We will learn the most amazing things this year in 6th grade social studies. We cover world history from beginning of mankind to modern day, all while learning some incredible skills. Let's start with our content. Our year is like a marathon race. We move fast, covering over 10,000 years of history in 12 units. Our first unit is an introductory unit to social studies. We answer things like, what is social studies? Why should we study it? What skills do we need to have to be like a historian? From there, we learn about the Paleolithic and Neolithic people, and that will lead us to emergence of civilizations in Unit 2 with Mesopotamia. We'll cover 2 other ancient civilizations, including Egypt with mummies, pharaohs, and pyramids, as well as ancient Greece. Next, students will research their own ancient civilization in a group and present it to the class as a culminating final project right before Thanksgiving. In December, you will be researching and creating a digital story to share your learning and knowledge around the 5 major world religions. And our new year will kick off with kings, queens, castles, and knights as we learn about feudalism and the Middle Ages, followed in February by a rebirth of knowledge and a change in how man views the world and himself with the Renaissance. This new view of the world in March will lead us to the age of revolutions, and that will take us right into modern day history. Of course, we study the modern day wars, World War I, World War II, we'll look at the Cold War, we'll look at Vietnam and Korea, through a decade study that leads us right into the 21st century where we'll look at some current global problems. Then we have a quick review unit to help us study for our final summative assessment. Our goal is to always connect how events of the past created the world we all live in today, and to increase our understanding of the world. As such, we try to incorporate current events all throughout our year. We have a fantastic textbook, Discovering Our Past, A History of the World. We have a class set, but students can also access it online or check it out overnight from our school library. As we are reading, we will focus on our literacy skills that include summarizing, analyzing, making inferences, drawing conclusions, identifying cause and effect relationships, comparing and contrasting, and writing. Contrasting. Our writing skills will increase dramatically this year as both ELA and social studies focus on thesis development and citing evidence. We also have an Atlas of World History that helps us develop the skills necessary to read and understand maps, charts, graphs, and diagrams. Again, we have a class set, and then students can access the Atlas online, or they can check out a book copy overnight from the school library. Other skills we focus on are unique to social studies. These are called historical thinking skills, or HTS for short. These are skills like sourcing. These include skills like sourcing. Sourcing a document is when we ask questions like, who created it? What's its purpose? Why was it created? Whose perspective does it show? When was it created? We evaluate the document by asking ourselves if it is reliable, if it is trustworthy and believable. This is where we get to become the detective as we use our historical thinking skills. We corroborate, which means to compare and contrast the evidence with other pieces of evidence to establish the trustworthiness. In our historical detective work, we get to look at a variety of evidence from different sources that will help us discover what we think really happened in history. We have DBQs, or document-based questions, that will help us analyze these different pieces of evidence. For example, if we are trying to figure out how did the Nile River affect the ancient Egyptians, we can look at different pieces of evidence, such as an essay. We could then look at a map of the Nile River in ancient Egypt, followed by an illustration of the types of things that happen on the Nile River. On the Nile River, as well as a painting that comes from an ancient Egyptian tomb that shows their beliefs about the Nile River. We could also analyze a hymn that the Egyptians sang about the Nile River. All of these pieces of evidence will help us decide how the Nile River affected the ancient Egyptians. Through this whole process, we will increase our research skills as we form and answer historical questions, as we collect and analyze data, organize that data, interpret it, and of course, present our research to the class. We will also integrate technology to help with the process. We will make slideshows, digital stories, and even videos. Through all of this, we will be addressing our 21st century skills of communication, collaboration, which is working with others, critical thinking, and creativity. As you can see, we have a ton of exciting and interesting things to learn about in 6th grade social studies. We will give our brain a workout. It's going to be an awesome year. It's a lot of work, so we will have some homework, and if you want to learn more about homework, watch the homework video.